Can rip it up out there?
Fast.
Hell yeah. That's what I like to hear.
Like Ricky Bobby.
Sweet looking rig.
Thank you.
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
I have about an hour of seat time in the car total. Like I said, every time I drove it, it broke. So we've got about an hour in it. It's starting to get fairly comfortable. You know, for me, it's just a car. It doesn't matter if it's an Indy car, a NASCAR, a trophy truck, or a rock car. You just drive it on the ragged edge and try not to crash. And I don't know, up till last weekend I was 2 for 2 in the last races that I turtled out. So turtles where the tires are in the air. And hopefully we can not do it here and have a good smooth run.
Next two guys I'm going to bring up here, I'm going to bring them together because they both share something in common.
From King of Hammers for us, it's the same type of crowd, but they're different. You know, the rock crawlers they pay attention to off-road, just like the off-road guys pay attention to rock crawlers, but they're different. It's a different fan base, different audience. Here in Johnson Valley, a place we used to race back when we used to race Score and HDRA combined here. We used to run off-road races here back in the mid-'80s. But rock crawling is new to me. It's pretty gnarly. It takes a lot of throttle control, a lot of finesse, and I'm having fun. It's a great marketplace for speed energy. The desert knows about speed. The rock crawlers are going to learn about it.
We've been out here for a week now. We came out Thursday, got our course maps for the modified class on Friday morning. Did a little pre-running Friday, a little pre-running on Sunday or Saturday. Then we had our first race for the King of the Hammers on Sunday. This car behind us is a modified class car, which means it's not quite up to the limits that people are pushing their cars for the unlimited class for the race we're in now. But it was enough of a car to win our class. By winning Sunday, we've got a guaranteed spot for this race. We're a little nervous about is racing this race with the steering that we had on Sunday's race. We broke our steering on Sunday. We put the same steering back in for the qualification round on Tuesday, but by qualifying we were able to take all that out. But more importantly, we were able to go to a 39-inch sticky compound tire instead of having to run on a 37-inch DOT tire. For this big of a car, that's a huge advantage, or it's a huge disadvantage not to be able to run those tires. So it was really important for us not only to better our starting position, which we are I think 44th now, but to be able to run a tire that will actually go through the rock courses that we're going through tomorrow, because they're much tougher than what we did on Sunday. We kind of built this car in the same drivetrain dimensions as my last trail rig so that I was familiar with how it went through the trails, but it's a big car. But I've never had a car that had any horsepower. We got a turnkey LS3 in here that screams, and that to me is the hardest thing to get used to. You know, my last JK had maybe 180 horsepower factory, and this is 525 stock without doing anything to it. So that was the hardest thing to get used to, but it's my most favorite part of this car is that being able just to scream across the desert. My favorite trail, if I was out just a Sunday trail ride, is probably Outer Limits. It's got a lot of technical sections on it, and you've really got to pick your lines, and if you don't pick your lines you can get in a lot of trouble. And that's my background, and that's what we've been out here for 15 years wheeling in these rocks, and before I got into this King of the Hammers series, you know, I was a rock crawler. You know, we rock crawled for years, and technical rock crawling was our forte. So that's the part of the course that's easiest for us, and the hardest part for a rock crawler is to get used to how to drive fast in the desert.
We built a car for the stock mod class. We had originally intended on building a JK, which is, you know, what we build parts for in the Jeep world. And when we got the rule book, Larry and I sat down and said, man, what are we doing? We don't need to build a Jeep. There's basically 4 rules here, and we came up with a game plan and some ideas around what the rules had stated the car needed to be, and came up with what you see here. Came up with a very unique steering program, and the frame rails where they are. Made everybody a little upset, but you know, we got the win. We had some struggles out there, but super happy with the entire performance of the vehicle. The way we read the rule book, there was 4 specific rules that outside of the general safety, you know, the general fuel tank, fire extinguisher stuff that every race car has to have. And there was, had to look like something. I think we did a beautiful job making it look like a JK. It had to have 14-inch travel shocks to the axles. So to maximize that, you'll see we have a little more angle on our shocks than most everybody else. So we're not limited to 14 inches of travel. We actually ended up with about 18.5 in the rear and about 17.5 in the front. The 2 biggest rules that I think that we were able to outthink the general racing public in the Ultra4 series was where the frame rails were located and the steering. We came up with a mechanical steering, which this class required. Believe it or not, we used something out of a boat and a cable, and that was our mechanical steering. Put about 500 miles on the car with that being successful, and unfortunately broke it during the race. Probably a little bit of a prep thing, just a new car blues. We hope to come back and have that dialed in. The final thing was the frame rails. They had to have frame rails from the motor mount to the behind the seats. It didn't say where they had to be. It said the primary frame rails of a frame, a production vehicle frame. We chose some CJ, older CJ frame rails, gutted them, bolted them together, and bolted them in the right side of our vehicle, which you know, basically allowed us to build a full tube chassis, purpose-built King of the Hammers rig that should be compatible in both classes. Couldn't have done it without everybody you see here. You know, first and foremost, our families that have given up so much, letting us work the hours and take the time that it took to build this thing. But as you can see, BFG tires, PSC steering, Fox shocks, rigid, FK rod ends, trail ready bead locks, Mastercraft, Griffin, MagnaFlow exhaust, Warn winches, turnkey motors, real drive lines, Odyssey batteries, rugged radios, Curry Enterprises for the bad boy rear ends under this thing. Patent steels helped us out with the steel on the vehicle. G&J Aircraft and X-Storm. American wiring harness, and of course, you know, the guys that are here at every event and seem to do a lot with us is Axial. You know, it's a great relationship, and you know, it's such a match made in heaven.
AAA makes it up here.